A couple of weeks ago I was approached by a resident who uses a car sharing scheme in Manly. I must confess I was quite surprised when he told me just how well supported these car sharing schemes are now. So I thought I'd look into it to find out whether this is something that we could go into more detail in Manly Council and actually have a policy as to how car sharing could operate within the Manly area. So I held a focus group and invited a number of users to come and tell me firsthand how they use car sharing in Manly, what works and what doesn't work. Well, I must be honest, I was very quickly convinced about what works. It's clear that it provides an alternative form of transport. People who normally would have one or two cars said they no longer need their cars, they just use the share cars when they're needed. In fact, one of the women who spoke to me has 4 children and they choose to use the car sharing rather than having 2 cars of their own because they can choose whether they use a Volkswagen or a family station wagon depending on what their requirements are on the day. Now here's the challenge that we have though with this scheme. We all know how precious our car parking spaces are in the residential streets. So let's consider then, how can we make this work? Clearly what needs to be done is there has to be dedicated parking spaces for car sharing within the resident streets of Manly. Now I know that these spots are precious, but think about this. What the research shows is that for every shared car, there are 13 less cars on the road. So in actual fact, I guess you could say we're increasing the number of car parking spaces in Manly. So I was very pleased that at a recent council meeting, my motion to look at car share policy for Manly Council was adopted, and we're now in the process of doing a feasibility study. For me, it's a great idea because it addresses so many issues. It provides sustainable transport options, it provides another way of getting around, and it's very, very convenient while also helping our environment. So what do you think? Should Manly Council take this idea on board?